Hi, grade fives, Mrs. Spencer here. This is our second lesson in this online kind of teaching. I must say, I much prefer teaching my beautiful children in front of me than speaking into a phone or a computer. But anyway, that is what it is. Hope you're enjoying staying at home. And I also hope the Easter Bunny was very kind to you over the weekend. Miss your smiling faces all the time. Right, today is our second lesson of the History Online series. Sounds very grand, doesn't it? And I want to kick off by showing you what your answer should look like from the end of last lesson. You had to compare the San and the Khoi with regards to their food and their hut, possessions, size of groups, and crafts. Your answers do not have to look exactly like mine, but more or less. If you don't have some points that I've made, please add them in. Good on you if you have made points that I haven't. Please keep them there and we can discuss them when I see you again. Today's lesson is on the early farmers. This is another group of people that occupied the land long time ago, together with the San and the Khoi. But as you hear in the lesson coming up, they were not as nomadic. They moved every now and again, but that was when the soil was no longer fertile or something like that, not as quickly and as easily as the San and the Khoi. Mrs. Henry will guide you through some of the notes, and then I will take over again. So enjoy hearing her voice instead of mine. Talk to you soon.
African farmers settle in southern Africa. Until about 10,000 years ago, most human societies lived a nomadic lifestyle. This meant that they regularly moved from place to place. They did this because the animals they hunted moved around, and the plants they gathered were only available in certain places and at certain times of the year. People discovered that if they started farming by planting the seeds of wild plants, they did not have to walk long distances looking for food. They also began to tame and breed animals like cattle, sheep, and goats for food, meat and milk, for work, pulling plows, and for transport. This meant that the people began to settle in one place rather than lead a nomadic lifestyle. As a result, the environment started to change. Farming changed people's lives and the way they organized their societies. Attitudes towards land. The Khoisan had no concept of land ownership. It was different with the farmers. Because the farmers stayed in one place for a long time on the same piece of land, they began to think that they owned the land. Land belonged to the community, but individuals were allowed to use it. The chief of the village and other important older men decided how the land was divided up. Everyone had the right to use some land, but some men got bigger and better pieces of land than others. The Khoisan adapted to the land as it was and did not change it permanently. But the farmers looked for areas where there was fertile soil and good grazing lands.
Right, grade fives, what I'd like you to do now is take your history book and turn to the next lined page. I do realize you're going to have a couple of blank pages that are open, but we'll sort that out when you get to school. The next lined page, I would like you to write a heading of early farmers and the date, whatever date you choose to do it. Then what I'd like you to do is underline with a ruler across the page. Next step, I'd like to take your page, and divide it in half lengthwise like that. Just fold it, no ruler line. I then want you to draw lines across your page and then divide your page into 4 sections. We worked it out that it's about 7 or 8 lines each space, and draw lines across your page like that. Once you have done that neatly on the line, you're set up for our piece of work. Had we been at school, you would have received a piece of paper like this with pictures number 1, 2, 3, and 4. You would have cut each one out and stuck them picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, picture 4. Unfortunately, that's not the case, so your columns over here will be blank. Mrs. Henry will now recite the sentences that you need to write opposite picture 1, picture 2, picture 3, picture 4. Listen carefully and write neatly. Thank you.
Picture number 1. Hunter-gatherers or San met herders along the way, full stop. They mixed with each other, full stop. Picture number 2. Hunter-gatherers were amazed to see that the farmers could smelt iron into implements, full stop. They traded animal skins for iron implements, full stop. Picture number 3. The hunter-gatherer or San is teaching the farmer about hunting, full stop. Picture number 4. A hunter-gatherer lady married a herder man and they became farmers, full stop. Check your work, go over those 4 sentences and make sure you've copied them down correctly.
Thank you, Mrs. Henry. Grade 5s, if you are looking for something to do, why don't you try and see if you can draw these pictures? However, no pressure, as you will be getting the pictures at school. Until next time, bye.